Thank you. That was Rumble Strips, otherwise known as the piece that wouldn't end. My dad calls it the piece that sounds like something bad is going to happen. Anyway, all right. So, got one more tune for you today. Before that, I want to tell you a little bit about this book that I read, I don't know, like a week or so before I went on my trip to get this marimba. It is by Amanda Palmer, who is a musician, a rock musician, and she worked for many years as a street performer. She painted her face white, dressed up like a bride, stood on a crate in Harvard Square, very still, unless people put money in her little hat, and then she would come to life and hand them a flower. She is important because she is the first person to crowdfund an album completely. She raised well, she's not the first person to crowdfund, but she's the first person to raise $1 million through crowdfunding, okay? And she wrote this book and talked about how her time as a street performer really taught her a lot about how to succeed as a musician in today's world where you really can't make anybody pay for anything anymore. You know, you can set up paywalls and you can do all these different things, but really, the bottom line, she says, is that you have to ask. And so I read this book and I was like, oh, well, that's very nice, Amanda Palmer, thank you. And then I went and got my marimba and I was hanging out with some friends and I'm like, dude, I bought this marimba and got this loan and all these things. And one of my really good friends said to me, well, you know, why don't you do like a crowdfunding thing? And I was like, ha ha, that's really funny. That's really tacky. I would never do something like that. No one cares whether I have a marimba or not. And then I remembered Amanda Palmer. And I thought, well, you know, I mean, just asking is pretty tacky, but like to do a concert and say all of the funds that I get from this concert go towards paying off the loan on my marimba, that's a little more, you know, I feel a little better about that. So, boom, how to donate. The suggested donation for today is $30 a person. If you don't have it today, don't worry about it. If you think this concert totally sucks and it's not worth $30, that's fine too. If, on the other hand, you're like, oh my God, I want to name my firstborn child marimba, $30 is like not nearly enough, that's also fine. Okay, either way, there are two ways to donate. You can go to sandiegodrums.com. There's a big button on the front page that says marimba crowdfunding. You can click on that. You can do that way. Or there are baskets in the front. Now, I'm not the 8-foot bride, so I'm not going to hand you a flower. But if you write like your name and some way for me to get in touch with you, I will make sure to send you a thank you note. Okay? So other things you can do that are totally free, you can like my Facebook page. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have some clipboards out there where you can write name and email address in case you want to know when I'm doing future marimba concerts. I don't have an Instagram because Instagram is for little babies. I want to go on the record saying that. Okay. And then if you want marimba for something like, I don't know, wedding, funeral, bris, whatever, I'm totally happy to make that happen for you. Do you want to learn to play the marimba? I can help you with that as well. So just let me know. So now, let's move on to the last little section of our concert here. Oh, I gotta do special thanks, that's super important. So obviously Hema, give it up for Hema. Yeah. It's really, really cool to work with people like that at Francis Parker. I also want to thank Sarah Gongaware. She is our orchestra teacher, and she is a cellist, and she came and gave me a lesson on the Bach cello suites, and she sat on the stage with her cello and was like, no, do it like this, and it was so helpful, so give it up for Sarah Gongaware. Okay, back in the booth is literally, I think, the most important person to know and get along with at Francis Parker because she literally knows everything. Katie Dawson, get a tech. You probably noticed somebody running around with a camera. That's my friend Robin Harris, who's also a very talented songwriter. I literally, like the picture that's on my flyer, that's like the only picture I have of me playing the marimba, so like I needed to fix that. So thanks, Robin. So there's a cool picture that I'm going to show you guys in a minute of Guatemalan marimba, and there's like a whole family on this marimba playing. And I know that I'm the only one who's actually up here, but my whole family is supporting me, and I want to thank them. My mom, she's kind of like Hema, only like Hema on steroids, because my mom wakes up every day, practices law all day long, practices the clarinet because she studies with Frank Rank in the San Diego Symphony, and then she writes novels. And she's like #1 or #2 on like Amazon self-published. She's really incredible, and if you want to read good books, you should Google her. And then Barbara Thunder Barnes and my dad, Greg Barnes, they've tolerated having this thing in their living room, and they've done, but yeah, no, really, since July, and with the constant coming and going of students, and also with hearing all of these pieces that you guys are hearing over and over and over again for months. So I'm really grateful to them for all their support. Yeah, no, really. Francis Parker School, obviously, great place to work, friendly people, great students. Oh, this is the really important part. So if you are my students, either at Francis Parker or privately, or if you have ever been my student, please stand up for a second. Okay. So the people that are standing up, these are the people who keep me inspired, who keep me motivated, and who make a difference in my life every single day. Thank you all for what you do. You can have a seat. I'm done embarrassing.